got that new drip. Shooter pop out with the pool stick. Effing and Draco extended 30 and it's sent on my hip. 35,000 for the brand new Rollie Rich. Bust out my wrist, I flex like WrestleMania. I just might go take that jet to Australia. Young Draco nigga, knowing international. Pull up a server.
Yo, what's going on, guys? It's Khetzy here, and today we're going to look at how strong is the main antagonist of Book 1 of The Legend of Korra, Noatak, or better known by his stage name, Amon. Now, I want to make something very clear, and that's that despite the contrary belief, waterbending is not overpowered. It's just blatantly not. Now, if someone wants to say it's the most powerful art of bending, or at least the most useful, go ahead and say what you want. It's used for medical bending, it can also bind spirits to bodies, but one thing that I really don't like people saying is it's because of blood bending. So when people say waterbending is overpowered because of blood bending, my response to it is that you can't bloodbend freely. It needs to be at night and only during a full moon, which are very strict conditions. But then we meet Amon, who is literally a master waterbender and can also bloodbend during the day at any time and doesn't need to use hand gestures. So yeah, waterbending itself is not overpowered, but Amon is. He's actually so overpowered that I'm going to say exactly how powerful he is in this video, and I'm also going to say the few people that actually have a chance of actually beating him. So there are two main reasons I'm making this video. The first one being I was talking to a friend in Discord on how strong Amon is and the characters that can actually beat him. Shout out to Crackton Network. And the second being that one of the biggest Avatar YouTubers, Antonio Bandalay, uploaded a video 2 years ago called How Strong is Amon, and straight up the video was just garbage, but there's no point in debunking it. It is 2 years old. So I said, hey, I'm gonna do this but better. In fact, all his videos on Avatar are awful and done terribly, and some of them don't even give you a straight up answer on who wins his versus battles. Like, I'd rather watch a Jake Paul video than any of his versus battle videos, to be honest, because he uses very basic logic, and many of his videos, if not all of them, basically have no solid proof or evidence to what he says. The point is, take the videos he makes with a grain of salt, and with that out of the way, let's get into this video. How strong is Amon? To start off, there was a man born in the northern water tribe named Yakone. Yakone was a criminal who could use bloodbending without a full moon and could do it freely during the day. Just to put that into perspective, what Yakone was doing in the Avatar universe should have been impossible. We found out in Book 3 Avatar that when Hama taught Katara how to bloodbend, it had to be during the night at a full moon. Anyway, Yakone would get caught for his criminal activities and would be found guilty in court. After being found guilty, he would literally bloodbend Sokka, Toph, and Aang, all who were the most powerful people in the entire world at the time, and if The Legend of Korra wasn't aired on Nickelodeon and super family friendly, they would have died. Yakone could also use psychic bloodbending. You might be thinking right now, what is psychic bloodbending? Well, psychic bloodbending is basically when you bloodbend with your mind. Normal people who bloodbend, even though there are very few, have to use hand gestures. So the fact that Yakone didn't even need to use hand gestures and could literally do this with his mind should show you just how powerful this guy is. And then Aang, when realizing they're probably all going to die, he basically has to open the Avatar state just to beat this guy. And he then steals away his bloodbending and waterbending, and he takes away. Yakone years later goes back to the water tribe and literally has 2 more kids because he's like, no, I'm done. He literally just basically gives up on being a criminal because Aang just took it all away. I would say that's due to plot. He had 2 sons, Noatak and Tarlok. Noatak was the oldest son by like a year, while Tarlok was younger. Yakone would be a great father to Noatak and Tarlok until they learned that they were waterbenders, just like their dad. When Yakone learned about the 2 brothers' newfound abilities, he put them through rigorous training so that he could get revenge on Aang. It is implied that Noatak and Tarlok became great waterbenders for a young age, but everything changed again when Yakone sat the 2 brothers down at a campfire and told them what bloodbending was. And while explaining to his 2 sons about bloodbending and what it entails to, he tells the audience something very important as well, and that's that Hama was not the first bloodbender, and that in fact bloodbending goes behind a whole lineage, and that Yakone's family tree and bloodline is the strongest bloodline for bloodbending in all.
Our family has the strongest line of bloodbenders in history. You boys have this power inside of you, and I will teach you to master it.
For the people watching, take a shot for every time I say the word blood. This basically confirms to us the audience that Katara would not be able to bloodbend during the day. She just wouldn't be powerful enough. Yukon then puts the brothers through even harsher training, and having the brothers learn how to bloodbend on animals. In the beginning, they were only able to bloodbend at night during a full moon, but they would eventually get the hang of it and learn how to bloodbend during the day. It is said that the younger brother Tarlok would not be just a worse bloodbender, but also have a weak stomach for it. He was a calm and gentle kid that felt bad about hurting helpless animals. On the other hand, Yukon would be a bloodbender that was very good at it, and also seemed to enjoy doing it, and at the young age of 14 would master bloodbending, and not only just bloodbending, but his father's psychic bloodbending. He has even seen bending large animals like wildebeest, which is a 290-pound animal, by the way. It was at this point Yukon would become distant and isolate himself. The pressure his dad had put on him had finally started to weigh on his shoulders, and now he was mature enough to understand what his dad actually wanted him to do: kill the Avatar. It would later be Noatak and Tarlok's last lesson. Yukon would have Noatak bloodbend Tarlok and vice versa. Yukon would bloodbend Tarlok to submission with ease and with the use of psychic bloodbending, while Tarlok refused to bloodbend his brother. After Yukon yelled at Tarlok, Noatak then bloodbended his father into submission and ran away. Yukon would die a couple years later, and Noatak wouldn't see Tarlok again for 26 years. Now, I'm going to tackle the biggest problem when power scaling Amon, and that's his skill in waterbending, because he never uses it, and the only time we ever see adult Amon waterbend is when he's pushed out of the window by Korra in the ocean and waterbends himself to the surface. That is the only time we ever see adult Amon waterbend. Now, Amon started waterbend training when he was very young, and his father was very strict with it, so it's easy to assume he mastered waterbending because Katara's master, Paku, says Katara became a waterbending master in a very short time. But the most we ever see him do as a kid is just pass water in his hands, so we're not going to jump to any conclusions. But we can't forget that Amon is 40 years old in The Legend of Korra, and he ran away at 14, and it's somewhat implied that Amon's group, the Equalists, had been around for a few years, so we can basically just assume he's been doing nothing but training or building up his empire of Equalists, so he has to be a master waterbender. Even though we can't see him do any special techniques with the waterbending, we can just assume he is one, based on the baseline of Paku and Katara, and that he's been gone for 26 years. Now it's time to scale something that is much simpler, which is Amon's bloodbending. And to put it simply, he is the best bloodbender in the entire series, pretty easily, including Avatar The Last Airbender. The guy can literally bloodbend during the day. He can bloodbend the Avatar. He can bloodbend 3 people at once. He can even resist bloodbending. That's right, Tarlok tries to bloodbend him as an adult, and he bloodbended his own body to release Tarlok's bloodbending. If this is not Amon's most hacks ability, I do not know what is. Now, I want you guys to do something for me, and that's to guess how many times Amon has ever been actually hit. Okay? You done? Well, the correct answer is 1. Amon dodges literally every attack someone has thrown at him, no matter who it's from, and the only person who legitimately ever hit him was Tenzin. Now, some of you might be thinking right now, he was also hit by Korra and Mako, but when you give those attacks context of the situation, it gives Amon even more credit. Basically, Amon takes all of Korra's bending away, and she only can bend water, fire, and earth, and then after those were taken away from her, she somehow magically, by the help of plot, gains the ability to airbend. She then hits him with airbending by surprise because he obviously doesn't think she's going to bend at him, he just took it all away. The time Mako hit Amon is another surprise attack, yet again, because Mako can barely move his fingers while Amon was bloodbending him, and he generated lightning in his fingertips, so Amon was hit with 1 legit attack by Tenzin and 2 surprise attacks. Either way, he's only been touched 3 times. Now, it's very easy to calculate Amon's speed. He dodges every attack like an airbender, which Tenzin even congratulates on him for. His fastest feat is when lightning is shot at him, and he reacts and dodges the lightning. When compared to Zuko's reaction speed and body movement, Amon is faster. Amon's scene of dodging lightning is more similar to Zuko jumping into Azula's lightning. Amon compared to Zuko is hypersonic and maybe a little bit more than Mach 300. It's really hard to pinpoint this because most Avatar characters still move at the same speed. So when we look at his skill tree, we can see Amon is a master waterbender, a master bloodbender, and is also a master chi blocker, and a little more than Mach 300. So the question is, how powerful is Amon? Amon is easily the strongest character in the entire show that is not a Avatar. Amon will literally slap everyone else in a fight one-on-one, or even multiple. For instance, if Amon really wanted to fight Korra and Mako with the use of his waterbending and firebending after he fell out of the window, he would have massacred them. Fun fact, Amon could have taken away Korra's bending or killed her the second he met her, but he decided not to let her go because he thought it would be too easy. So I stand by it. Amon is the strongest character that is not an avatar, but I'm going to go over the few people that actually stand a chance at beating him, or at least have a hacks ability that would help them in a fight against him. So for number 4, I actually have Ty Lee. Now before you get triggered, in no way am I saying Ty Lee actually has a chance of beating a full powered Amon, but Amon also doesn't kill or use any of his bending in public. He sort of hides it. He doesn't want people to know he's a bender because he's an equalist, and he's actually the leader of them. And the equalists are all about screw all bending, and we want benders to be suppressed because normal humans are oppressed too. So basically what Amon does is he relies on his chi blocking, his martial arts, and his overall airbending movement. So what would happen if we had Ty Lee, who's the first chi blocker we've ever seen, and basically the best chi blocker that we know of, fight off against a Amon who also moves like an airbender and also is a chi blocker, fight off against one another. Who do you think would win? That's really the only reason I have her up here. I don't think she can actually beat the water bending, blood bending, or anything. Even if she literally chi blocked him, say, he could probably theoretically blood bend his body to fight her as well. It would be a very interesting battle. I think maybe Ty Lee could stand a chance if it's just a one-on-one chi block battle. So let me know what you guys think. On to number 3. So for number 3, I actually have Fire Lord Ozai. Now for Ozai, it's very simple. He absorbed the comet. We never really saw him do anything when he was in his base besides shoot lightning at Zuko. A very important thing about Amon is he doesn't kill anybody or anything or any animal, even with his blood bending. And basically, there is no reason why he would kill Ozai in this situation, unless you said in a hypothetical death battle they were both going for the kill. But I'm really taking these people into character. And basically, as long as Ozai can move his fingertips, bend them with lightning, and then basically hurl fire at them the same way Mako did, then Ozai should be able to beat him. Now this one is much more of a maybe, especially because Ozai is over Azula. But yes, for number 2, I have Azula. Now basically it's the same rules and same principle as Ozai. Whether you think Book 2 Azula is much stronger than Book 3's or vice versa, it shouldn't matter. As long as a firebender could generate lightning, they should theoretically be fine. We see Mako sort of sends him off into a wall. The reason why I put her as a maybe is because we can see Mako, who should have a higher pain tolerance because he's hit and gets his ass kicked a lot more than Azula, struggle to even stand up and needs Korra to actually help him. And Azula, who was seen much more as a more profound firebender and doesn't get hit nearly as much, might not be able to have the pain tolerance of being constricted by bloodbending for so long. So you know, she's much more of a maybe, but she's my number 2. Now, I know you guys were all expecting this and it's kind of cheap, but listen, Amon cannot lose to a lot of people. So I sort of have to put them on this, which is basically number 1, every avatar that has access to the avatar state. This is very self-explanatory. Aang showed us that basically using the avatar state basically overrides the effect of bloodbending. So basically, you know, as long as you're an avatar and have access to the avatar state, you're fine. Well guys, thank you for watching. I hope this gave you a good and clear answer on how powerful Amon is. My next video is going to be on one of my favorite Naruto characters, and probably number 3 on that, Menma Uzumaki. Make sure you leave a like and subscribe for more content, and until next time, bye.
Man, I've been fearless, I let them feel this. You know I spit it, no cap when I kill this. I'm better hit them with the rest, let them hear this. Where this war tour better be a field trip. Yeah, sack it up and then I double it. No time for mumbling, show them where trouble is. Been on my team, plotting my things, living my dreams. Yeah, it's obscene. Word around here been